Now when I was a little boy, at the age of 5, I had something in my pocket, keeps a lot of folks alive. I'm a man,
Welcome to Sports Central and another week of track cycling from Revolution 22. We're nearly halfway through the season now. As promised, today for the first time we've got an all-male show of the endurance men and the sprinters. But before we go to that, let's recap on last week, which saw the stars of the future and the endurance women.
Joe Rousel now accelerates all the way to the line, 32.829. Coming up towards the line, and she throws her bike at the line. It might go to a photo finish, but Hannah Mayo looked like she took that for Great Britain. Sam Harrison, can he come through to take the final sprint? Sam Harrison takes the sprint. Here comes Sam Harrison once again. Sam Harrison. Does anyone have an answer to this man tonight? It doesn't look like they have. Simon Yates trying to come through. Sam Harrison.
3 out of 3 out mad.
This week, let's start with the sprinters and what has to be the main attraction of Revolution 22, the return to racing for Chris Hoy. Triple gold Olympic medalist Chris Hoy is racing on the Manchester Velodrome. Martin, are we in for a treat at Revolution 22?
Well, Revolution 22 is going to be exciting because it's the first time we're going to see Chris Hoy competing at home after his incredible success in Beijing. I think he's getting a bit of a fan club now as well. Are you one of them?
Oh, it could be.
He did have a great sprint victory in the Milan 6-day back in November, so he's coming on to some good form. And in particular, my favourite event, the Keirin. He's a world champion in that. Translated from its native Japanese, literally means fight, so I'm sure Chris Hoy's up for a bit of a fight tonight.
I'm sure he is. Now, Chris in the sprint, he's going to be coming up against the Great Britain boys, Jamie Staff, Ross Edgar, Jason Kenny and Matt Crompton, who was on fantastic form on Revolution 21. We know a lot about them. Tell us about the international riders.
The internationals are literally flooding to Manchester now to compete against Great Britain, because to be the best in the world, you've got to compete against the best in the world. Or maybe they're just hoping some of the gold dust will rub off on them. But we've got Turnmulder here from the Netherlands. He's a double world champion and a triple European champion. And a real Manchester favourite, the Italian stallion, Roberto Chiappa, is back here. And he's a 15-time Italian national champion. And he's been a world champion as well. So both of those riders are here and on form tonight.
Do you think they'll get a win?
I think they've got their work cut out, but that remains to be seen.
Should we see what they think?
Let's have a look.
Let's go to that.
Oh, it's going to be difficult. I think the condition is good, but England has so many good riders, so it's going to be a tough competition tonight.
I think Chris Hoy is a very, very good condition, but in England now is a very talent. Jason Kenny, Ross Edgar, I think, is a bit for winner.
There are a lot of young riders also very strong, like David Daniel and of course Jason Kenny. But I think Chris Hoy is still on fire, and he will show this tonight.
Revolution now is a good event. I think it's more important for the World Championship.
I think it's the 10th or 11th time I'm back in Manchester. It's like my second home almost. It's good racing here, the crowd is great. Competition is great, and the British guys are also very nice, so it's just nice to come back.
Apart from the World Championships and the World Cup Series, this seems to be the competition they all want to come to and they all want to win. Martin, this event becoming a bit of a revolution itself. Already this year we've had Australian legend Brad McGee use Revolution 21 to retire. Chris Hoy is using Revolution 22 to get back into racing. What does that say about the event?
I think it says a lot about British track cycling in general, that riders need to use races such as Revolution to get themselves back on form. We have World Cup events throughout the world all over the winter, and our World Championships are in March, and that's why it's good to use races such as Revolution to get yourself into form for those upcoming World Cups.
This track has made great history and it will continue to do that. Now let's move on to the endurance racing, and Australian rider Luke Roberts is here to take on the cream of British talents.
Luke Roberts, he's a class act, Olympic champion back in 2004 in the team pursuit before the Brits took over. They're racing a little bit shorter than we saw in Revolution 21, but the crowd favourite, and one of my favourites, the 1 kilometre Madison time trial, is back. We saw some riders get close to the record in that last time, but I'd like to see some of the sprinters in that as well.
And what do you think of the Devil Scratch?
The Devil Take the Hindmost is one of the best races in track cycling. We don't see it very often. The last rider across the line is eliminated. Normally they take it down to the last 2 riders. In the Devil Scratch, they take it down to 10. So it's always very, very exciting, but I'd like to see a full Devil.
It'll be a fun race. Today we've already mentioned how it's an all-male show, and boys being boys, they have to get all competitive. Now, one of the highlights of today's show will once again be the head-to-head between Team Pursuit and Team Sprint. The endurance boys got it at Revolution 21. Will the sprinters get it this time round? Let's see what they think. Do you think you can get one over the endurance boys tonight?
Oh, of course, yeah. We're all here. We've got the Olympic guys. Chris is here cheering us all on. We're all really ready for this one. This is our event. We're going to take it to them.
The sprinters have the advantage tonight because of the standing start. So being up there, they're obviously a lot more powerful, and but hopefully we'll be able to claw a bit of time back in the closing laps. But hopefully it'll be close. But yeah, I'm sure we'll try our best and do okay.
Who knows what could happen with Chris Hoy back on the team? It's going to be a unique event. And on that note, let's get to Revolution 22.
One rainbow jersey on the front, one rainbow jersey on the back is eliminated. The Devil takes Ed Clancy. Mark Christian on the front, and Dan McClay goes out. The winner of the Future Stars a year ago. 9 laps to go this time. Now it's a scratch race. The first rider across the line will be the winner. Here comes Peter Kenyuk over the top. Kenyuk now. Luke Rowe trying to come through as well, as is Andy Tennant. It's 3 100% me riders. It's Peter Kenyuk on the front as they come round towards the finish. It's going to be a 1-2-3 for 100% me.
Geraint Thomas, who I've been training with quite a lot over the last couple of weeks, gave me a good lead out, which helped me a lot towards the end. And then I just had to deliver a good sprint over the last lap. I was always checking from about 2 laps out to make sure no one was coming up beside me. And then once I seen they were coming up, I just had to go then and made my move, and worked out pretty well.
So is it a race you'd say that you've got to have quite a bit of control in?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've got to know what's going on around you, be aware of what's happening in the bike race. You can't really fall asleep or switch off. You've always got to be concentrating.
Chris Newton on the front. Tom Murray of Pinarello Racing Team. Chris Newton, it looks like it's going to take that first sprint, but he was challenged on the line by Pete Williams of the Pinarello Racing Team, and they come through for the next sprint. Oh, Geraint Thomas takes that. Hales Dowsett off the front. Stephen Cummings makes his move. He's chased by Luke Rowe. Luke Rowe opened his account with a good first sprint. Geraint Thomas is also up there. Williams of Candy TV, but Dowsett comes over the top to take it. The big man, the killer, Rob Hales now looks over his shoulder. The power is on for Rob Hales. He looks around, decides it's not a big enough gap, and he eases back. The man in the rainbow stripes, Luke Roberts, challenging now. The big Aussie comes through. Chris Newton over the top. Geraint Thomas, he's got to hold on and try and score some minor points here. Geraint Thomas can't afford to drop too far back, but none of his nearest competitors. Alex Dowsett was the closest to him. Confirmation there. Luke Roberts, a great final sprint.
Congratulations, Luke. Your first time at the Revolution and a win.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. I've heard a lot about these Revolution meetings, and I was really keen to come and have a look. And I got the opportunity to come out tonight and race, and to take a victory in the points race was great, fantastic.
Now, you say you've heard a lot about the Revolution. What is it like experiencing it then?
Oh, great. I mean, I've never seen a velodrome so full of a crowd like this. I think the last time I seen a crowd like this was 1996 at the World Championships here, when Chris Boardman rode the world record. I was fortunate enough to see that, and the British fans, they love their cycling, and it's always great to race here.
Peter Kenyuk of the 100% Me team. Geraint Thomas on his wheel. But Kenyuk now throws Geraint Thomas into the action. They get the gun for 4 laps to go. He looks for Peter Kenyon, perfectly timed in that banking. Thomas and Kenyon now, big acceleration by Peter Kenyon. And they are very, very quick as Peter Kenyon hits that final banking. He looks towards the line, it's going to be quick. Can they go quicker? Oh, they do, 58.028. The rainbow bands are on the front. Ed Clancy and Stephen Burke. Clancy reaches back, throws Stephen Burke in. They get the gun. Stephen Burke now drops into the bottom of the track. It's going to be a perfectly timed change. They want this. They don't want to waste too much energy. Clancy reaches back. Big handsling now. Stephen Burke throws in Ed Clancy. They get the bell this time. The record could be on for Ed Clancy and Stephen Burke. Ed Clancy into the home straight. He comes up to the line. 54.666. They are just outside the record of Hoy and Tournon once again. But what an incredible ride.
It was a 10th out of, on the record, which is it's annoyingly disappointing. But I think next time, maybe we'll get that record all going well.
So what do you think your secret to success is?
I don't know, I think we just enjoy it. Both myself and Stephen were pretty quick for endurance riders, and we sort of specialise in team pursuit and the individual pursuit, sort of shorter distances. And I think, this sort of event just suits our body type, but we're getting better at it. We're still 4/10 quicker than last time. As Stephen said, we're disappointed to miss out on the record, but if we go 4/10 quicker next time, it'll be a happy day.
Here comes over the top. Geraint Thomas makes his move with Rob Hales on the wheel. Tom Murray of Candy TV, Pinarello. Here comes Tennant, locks onto the wheel of the Pinarello rider. Geraint Thomas, is he leading it out for Rob Hales? It's devastation behind this race. It's just split to pieces. It's all over the track as they get the bell this time. Still Geraint Thomas on the front. Rob Hales, Murray, Tennant and Burke. Here comes Rob Hales over the top. He's got the youngster, number 24, Tom Murray of Pinarello. But Rob Hales, here comes the killer. Rob Hales, can he hang on for the victory? Yes, he can.
Now, you've raced at the Revolution many times. What's it like to be a part of this cycling era?
I'd say it every time, it's absolutely fantastic. When I arrived at about 5:15, people were already queuing all the way down to the roundabout to get in. And it's just a sight for sore eyes. I can't believe that we've had so many already. It's gone so quick. But, this is it's fantastic. And I'm so glad to still be racing at 35, still going quicker than ever. And I'm in the element.
That's all for part one, but join me after the break as you'll get to see triple gold Olympic medalist Chris Hoy. Welcome back to Revolution 22. It's an all-male night tonight, and you're about to see Chris Hoy.
David Daniels looking good. He's rocking and rolling. He comes up to the line. David Daniel, 10.279, 43.5. Ross Edgar now accelerates towards the line. Oh, second place for Ross Edgar. Matthew Crampton is looking very, very quick as he hits turn 3. Looks to slingshot himself to the line. He comes up to it now. 10.267. Tilmode a little high, exiting the final bank bit. It comes up towards the line. 10.714. Look at the acceleration of Jason Kenny. 10.267 is the time to beat. The crowd are on their feet. They get behind him. 10.247. Chris Hoy now accelerates into the back straight. Can he beat Crampton? 10.247 is the time to beat of Jason Kenny. Chris Hoy comes up towards the line. What does he have? 10.352 for Chris Hoy. Jason Kenny takes the 200-metre time trial, but a good ride by Chris Hoy. Here comes Jamie Starr from the back position. They're 3-on-3 up that bank in Ross Edgar at the bottom of the track. Jamie Starr comes through. It looks like Ross Edgar takes heat 1. This boy's on fire at the moment, is Matthew Crampton, and he opens a huge gap over Jason Kenny and Peter Mitchell to take Heat 2. Turnmulder locks in on his wheel, and Turnmulder, has he got a challenge for young David Daniel at the moment? It doesn't look like he has, and David Daniel says, if you want to come to my house, boys, you better bring a big challenge. Christian Light on the front, Chris Hoy in the centre. Hoy holds Esteban high. Does he accelerate back onto the wheel of Christian Light? Chris Hoy's got to close that little bit of daylight between him and Christian Light. Here he comes over the top. Chris Hoy accelerates through. David Daniel just using that track to perfection. Comes down the back straight. Ross Edgar, he senses his David Daniel is trying to come past him. It's going to be close. David Daniel times it to perfection. Chris Hoy, 32 years of age, triple world champion, triple Olympic champion. Crampton spying back over his shoulder. Here comes the big man, the real McCoy. Chris Hoy accelerates. Crampton now puts the power down. Chris Hoy lights the afterburners in the back straight, and he comes into the final turn. Chris Hoy comes up to the line, and he takes it. Roberto Chiappa, the legs are tied up. Here comes Matthew Crampton, comes over the top. Ooh-ha! Matthew Crampton takes the victory. At the bottom is Jamie Staff. We have Ross Edgar, Jason Kenny and Matthew Crampton. At the bottom of the track for the endurance boys, Stephen Burke, Rob Hales, Geraint Thomas and Ed Clancy. And they're away. Jamie Staff leads off for the sprinters, and it's the sprinters that are in the lead at the moment. Jason Kenny takes over for the sprinters. They're accelerating. Rob Hales on the front, and the sprinters are so far in the lead at the moment. Ross Edgar takes over. Geraint Thomas and Ed Clancy have got a huge amount of work to do. Matt Crampton takes over for the sprinters, the big man from the Sciences Sport team. Ed Clancy in the back straight. It's going to be a victory for the sprinters. Matt Crampton and the sprinters make it 1-1.
This is our game now. This is, this is what we do. Standing start, big power, big top speed straight away. So, nice little victory.
Are you really coming on as a rider? How does it feel to witness the changes that are happening in cycling and also be a part of it?
Oh, it's great, yeah. It's just the whole thing's on the upward stream, you can see from, obviously, Chris, who's the most successful out of the whole programme, and then from the youngsters coming through, and it's great. It's really good to be a part of.
The Derny will pull off this time. The riders start to look around at each other. Daniel just glancing over his shoulder at Esteban. Craig McLean just behind him. Christian Light can see all of them from the back. Now David Daniel on the front, followed by Christian Light. Craig McLean fighting to try and get on terms, but at the moment it's David Daniel, Christian Light. David Daniel leads around into the finishing straight, and it's another win for David Daniel.
So close at the finish, but you came out on top.
I'm just over the moon really to come here after the World Cup, doing well at the World Cup. And still having fun really. I've just started my winter training, and it's good just to get back in home crowd and win a few races.
So what do you think your secret to success was?
I think it's just hard training with the best coaches in the world. Keep training, medals will come.
And how have you enjoyed the win here at Revolution 22?
Oh, it's excellent in front of the home crowd. The atmosphere is brilliant. It's really good to win and get some payback from training.
David Daniel now looks back at that ominous sight of Chris Hoy, the elbows out, the way he grips the bars. He just focuses, stares down the back wheel of David Daniel now. Daniel looking between the legs as Chris Hoy sweeps the track behind. He's like a missile, Chris Hoy. He just locks on his target. David Daniel uses the track. Ian Dyer, the sprint coach, tells him to hang it high. Chris Hoy now gets the acceleration. And he lights it now. Chris Hoy in the back straight. Look at the acceleration of the Olympic champion as he comes over the top. They're level. Chris Hoy comes through, and Chris Hoy takes it.
Chris, you always get a pleasant welcome at the Revolution.
Well, this was the first race I've had in the UK since the Olympics, and obviously Revolution is the main showcase event for cycling in Britain, so to come here and to get a standing ovation and the reception at the start was incredible. And there's such a knowledgeable crowd as well. They really appreciate good racing when they see it, and to be part of the whole cycling revolution without being too much, without the pun intended, it's been fantastic. And the crowd make the event tonight. The crowd make the atmosphere and make it special. So, I'd like to thank everyone that made the effort to come out tonight.
Now, Chris, you've been based at the Velodrome for many years. What's it like to witness the change that's happening in cycling and also be a part of it?
You have to pinch yourself, really, when you think back to what it was like 12 years ago when I first rode here at the World Championships in '96, and I was on my own bike, a borrowed tracksuit top. We had one racing skin suit for the week. You had to keep washing it every night. No other leisure wear, nothing. Minimal support. There was only one full-time coach employed at that time, and we were really running out on a shoestring budget, and the results reflected that. And now, money is important, obviously, but it's not just the money, it's the people we now have in place, the best people for coaching, for management, for the physios, mechanics, everything. The team as a whole is the best in the world, and we just do our job by getting on the bikes and racing.
As the Derny bike now builds the pace, the riders still in the same order. Jason Kenny on the back of the bike, Jamie Staff just behind him, Hoy, then Crampton, then Edgar, then Mulder. Right on the back is Roberto Chiappa. Hoy now accelerates. Jamie Staff spots the danger and decides to go for a long one. Jamie Staff, Jason Kenny from Hoy. Now Jamie Staff now accelerates. Jason Kenny trying to get on terms. Chris Hoy just laying off slightly. The man on the front, the former world BMX champion. He's been a world champion in this discipline. They get the bell this time. Jamie Staff, Jason Kenny trying to get up. Here comes the Olympic champion. Here comes the world champion. And here comes Matthew Crampton. The challenge. But Chris Hoy, he lights the missiles. Chris Hoy. Booyah!
Chris, you have to be so dominant everywhere you go.
Well, you've got to keep these young whippersnappers down, haven't you? You can't let them get away with it. So it's been a great race tonight, and I'm glad that even though I've not been really doing much training and much preparation, I was able to win.
You've got some amazing statistics for the Kieran, so your confidence must have been sky high.
Well, not tonight really, because I've done very little training since Beijing. I've just come back from holiday, so I wasn't expecting much tonight, and I think most of it's down to determination and just a bit of pride that you don't want to let these young guys beat you, because as soon as you start getting beaten by them, everybody's like, oh, you're over the hill and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just enjoying the racing and getting that kind of killer instinct back after a few weeks or a few months off.
I think you're showing that the 2009 season is going to be a good one for you.
Well, I think it's going to be great for the whole team, but I'm not expecting to be in Olympic form by March, but I'll give it my very best shot. And the important thing is London 2012, but obviously every World Championships between now and then is crucial too.
That's all from Revolution 22, but I'll be back next week. See you then.